All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Mike Long. Some of you guys know me. Some of you guys don't. I'm mostly in the IM niche. I do have a. I'll confirm it. Okay. I do have a 7-figure brand in the relationship advice niche that I do with Mystery, and going to be coming out with more of that soon. We're actually moving in pretty heavily into this market. It's actually our main focus. I'm going to mostly focus on some pretty interesting results. I talked a lot with Brad Osborne over at Dow about some of the challenges, and I've talked to Travis a lot about some of the challenges in this market, some of the things that people want to do. We mostly focus on SEO and high-ticket sales. I've done well over $30 million, most of it on items that cost between $500 and $10,000, and we've never used call centers. So we've always done it from emails, webinars. Webinars, something that Travis really helped me in a big way. I'll actually be talking about a webinar result. But I did want to talk about something that we've had a lot of success with recently. I've showed this to a couple of people. I showed it to Jordan, to Dave. They really liked it. Travis is aware of this. So we do HTML emails. I do these all myself. I guess it'll take a second for this to kind of populate on the screen. But we do HTML emails. All the graphics designs that you'll see in this, I do myself with Snagit and Photoshop. And these really, really convert. Like my split test result is that these make a lot of money. Not to be kind of cheeky. Most of the money that in these emails is made. This one's a pretty hard pitch for our coaching. That's very rare for us. We'll do that maybe once every 2 months. Most of them, well, so first of all, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but it says, please make sure to permanently enable images to allow you to properly view or update dispatches, something I really hammer on. Also, oftentimes, in the emails, I'll do little things to let people know that there is an important graphic here. If you're not seeing it right now, go to the top of your email and enable images. And Brad, this is something you're doing now, right?
Getting there. Not this fancy, but working on this.
But you actually are like including images and stuff like that in your emails?
Yeah, that's become a priority, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, great. All right, so this is where most of the money is made in these emails. So I've got the nice header right here, and then most of the money is made right here, where we announce like kind of what's going on with our high-ticket items. They're usually closing or opening up for early birds or something like that. Sometimes they're sold out. If they're sold out, I'll just leave it out of the email. And I've done this with done-for-you websites. I've done this with high-dollar coaching. For the mystery stuff, we've sold a lot of $500 and $1,000 and even $2,000 coaching. Most of it is kind of soft sell, like the content of the email will be, really like a lot of what Travis is talking about. I haven't had the same result that Michael's had that he talked about earlier, saying that that content is dead. I think the content is alive as well, alive and well. But I do think that I go with Gary Halbert on this. It's content and contact. That's why people come to the internet. And I think that's one of the reasons why these emails particularly work. Something else that I like to say is that people respect what you inspect. So if you're putting emotion and focus into something, and then I think that you'll see this really signals to people that I care, and that I care about them, and you'll see that as time goes on. So we've got the coaching call to action right here. This is really critical right here. We actually have a blog page. This is a $2,500 coaching. By the way, on almost all of that $500 to $10,000 stuff, in the last couple of years, we've really gotten away from offering refunds on anything that we charge $500 or more on. This is a multi-million-dollar brand. The only thing that we offer refunds on is our one-click bank offer, and we don't really promote it much because we don't really much want to deal with refunds. I'm not saying that's. I'm saying what I'm saying. So, anyways, we have right here. This is a blog page. If I open it up, I don't really particularly want to because I don't want to mess around with things on the screen. But it'd be a blog page that has like 60 or so like pretty rabid testimonials, Facebook and comment testimonials from people that have paid us $2,500 that are making a lot of money. And by the way, this is not a very mature business. This business is 7 months old, and we have 55 video testimonials of customers that have made $10,000 or more doing what we're doing. This is, again, SEO and conversion. So that's what we're teaching. Okay, so then we've got the nice graphic of me and Greg here for Bring the Fresh. If this was Bring the Fresh, it would be a picture of me and Kelly. And then I just talk to them, just normal copywriting. Here's the scoop, just John Carlton, Travis Sago, here's the scoop, here's the story, just talking to you. I actually mentioned you guys. We're at the conversion conference. I thought that'd sounds better than the dating mastermind little picture from my room here. But not like, hey, I'm pimping it out in LA, or not in LA, in Vegas. I'm kicking back and getting champagne bottles. No, I'm working hard for them, which I am. 12-hour work days while I'm here because there's such an amazing wealth of split test results. Thank you for that, Mark. Hard-nosed video marketing, affiliate marketing to be learned here. My brain is already cranking on turbo, blah, blah, blah. So shock rankings. Guys, this is the whole purpose behind the HTML email. Proof. We're all copywriters here. Proof that really hits home nowadays. A Facebook comment. This is from David Hood. He ranks #1. I keep it mysterious here because he asked me to. He ranks #1 for Dallas SEO expert, which is good if you're an SEO expert in Dallas. And so, just a great Facebook thing from our NHB Facebook group. And actually, Mark's in this Facebook group. And you can see all the likes and all that stuff. I'm not going to do it, but I make sure to hyperlink my images. So if people want to see this full screen, you can see that it's hyperlinked. If I clicked on it, it would pop up the whole image so you can see it very, very clearly. And then click through here to inspect this image. This is something that kind of, at least if they're not using HTML email, they can see it. I see some people squinting. I don't know if I can, maybe if I can make it a little bit bigger. I'm kind of, again, reluctant. Yeah, that was a mistake. Okay, I'll go back. All right, so I guess that's about as good as it gets. So mostly this email is there just to highlight the success of my customers. My emails traditionally throughout the years basically boil down to, I was talking to Jordan about this at lunch. I have I've gotten thousands and thousands of testimonials throughout the years. I was talking to Brad about this as well. I think he comes from a very similar philosophy. We really largely build our business around a testimonial engine. I call it an annihilation engine. It's a nice way of dressing it up, but it really boils down to, I think it's a 3-step process. I typically start by getting my first testimonial, kind of going face-to-face with people, just talking to them, emailing back and forth. I do, in our business, we have no employees. This is a multi-million-dollar brand in profit, 0 employees. It's 3 partners. One of our partners' wives does the accounting, and she answers kind of the trash customer service, like passwords and so forth. I answer every email that can wind up becoming a testimonial. This is something similar. Unfortunately, Chris isn't here, but I really noted that Chris had noted a number of times that when he is writing copy, he's spending tons of time talking to the woman who's answering their emails. Well, I'm always writing copy, so I just cut out the middleman and I just answer the emails myself. So emails that can result in a testimonial, I do. Emails that can result in a big upsell. David Mills, who's our chief copywriter, I've worked with him for 15 years. He's managed all those businesses that I've been successful with. He answers those emails. And then Greg, who's our primary content provider for SEO, he answers our coaching questions. And so so we don't have to outsource anything on that subject. The business is well over 90% profit. All right, so mostly highlighting results here. This is Wayne Boss. This stuff really works. Wayne, since getting this email, this isn't that impressive of an email. He ranked a website for his brother in the plumbing niche. But he was so excited about me posting this email, and it is kind of inspiring to people. I got a #1 ranking. It's getting phone calls. But seeing this email, it got him really fired up. He wrote me 2 emails yesterday and said that he just landed a $5,000 client just because he was just kind of pepped up by this. And he has a website that's on page 1 for Houston SEO expert, which again was something that we pointed out in this email. So people respect what you inspect. Another testimonial here. Wow, guy made a bunch of money, $4,800. NHB FAQ. This is just an FAQ about our coaching. So this is a little unusual for me. This is pretty hard pitch. This is about as hardcore as it gets. Oftentimes I'd be either promoting another product or just talking to people. Mostly I just kind of get building blocks from my customers, testimonials, and so forth. So these are just the questions that people come in. Whatever. It doesn't matter for you guys. But so the questions, the answers, signature. I think this is important. And then once again, most of the money is made in the in the final PS, either in the final PS or in the super header, which is the real call to action. scarcity for the SEO stuff. So that's something I think it's pretty different. I haven't seen other people doing it this way. Travis?
Can I interject something? When you just look at one email, you kind of don't get the whole power of it, I don't think. But when you keep seeing these testimonials flying in, first, I mean, if you're not, you're like, oh, this is BS or whatever. But then you just like keep seeing them, and you keep seeing them, like, dang. And he does. He always has like these really heartwarming testimonials in there. And I think the way we can use that is, I'm not doing that with my people. I'm not like constantly sending out. You do a PS. Here's a testimonial that comes in. Yeah, it's a cumulative effect. I think. Because I'm on your list.
Yeah.
Just seeing it, it's like, wow. You keep seeing it.
Yeah, one of the things that really fired me up, when I met Travis, I had just launched Bring the Fresh in 2009, and it was like right as soon as it hit ClickBank, I got this long email from Travis, and he knew everything about my Area 51 marketing, Area 51 lifestyle business. After I helped found StomperNet, or I was one of the founders of StomperNet. And then when I exited from that, I did a business with Mystery in the relationship advice niche, and then I did another business in the marketing niche, Area 51 marketing, Area 51 lifestyle. And Travis sent me an email, and he knew everything about what I had done. And it was very, like, it really moved me. And here he was just crushing it now. And like a week later, I was like barbecuing with him, and he was just sitting down, like breaking down for me, like the things I had done and what he'd learned from it and how it helped him grow. And then he was like, and by the way, now let me catch you up to speed with all this. I mean, as you guys saw earlier, like obviously Travis is a mad genius when it comes to this to this stuff. So that was very impactful for me. And actually, that'll lead me to a few like my kind of split test results or whatever. First, I wanted to find out, does anyone? And Travis is right. Like this is a cumulative effect. Over time, I get like a lot of emotions out of my customers for this. I get a lot of testimonials. Every day I get several like pretty meaty testimonials.
Yeah. At lunch, Ariel just had an email from one of her customers, just kind of a little picture.
Yeah.
That'd be like perfect.
Now I'm going to put it in my newsletter. It's one of my success stories, a picture of him and his wife and their one-year-old baby. And so I've been letting the readers know, we met somebody, got engaged.
And those pictures are critical. I mean, this one here is not all that exciting, but I got one not that long ago. I started this whole theme up of like making a comeback because I thought that was really good for my customers. Tough economic time, so I want them to make a comeback. And I got this letter in from a guy named Fletch, who is a kind of out of work AC repairman from Phoenix. And he's like, man, Mike, I'm making my comeback. I just, made my first, big deal. And he sent a picture. It was a great picture. It was like, I guess he held his phone like this, and he had his wife here and his daughter here, and they're all, like they're all just screaming and laughing. And I put that in the email. I've used it again and again. And by the way, again, people respect what you inspect. Fletch has come on a couple webinars for us. Last webinar he came on, he testified that he's banked over $20,000 each of the last 2 months, which definitely gets me fired up. Anyways, I don't know if that's going to come back up, but I'll kind of, if it does come back up, I'll show you. Okay, so.
Hey, Mike, you said something I was in the middle of writing it. You said you did a 3-step process.
Yeah.
And then you said one.
Oh, did I trail off and not say the rest of them?
Hanging over here. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, here, let me pull that. I do think pictures are really important. One of the things. I think, Ron, I think you pointed out to me that you used to like read my like Area 51 lifestyle dispatches, and they were good, but they were like long. That's the biggest thing that the HTML emails let me do is like make things much more concise, because I could say more, pictures worth 1,000 words, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it starts with getting a single testimonial. I typically do that face to face. I was talking to Jordan. Jordan, actually, were you one of my like early like MTG Secrets customers? Is that right? Like so this is all the way back in like, I don't even know, like 2002, 2003, 2004, like something like that. And the way that we got our first testimonial for that business was I just sold a customer face-to-face. I was playing Magic Online, and I basically traded him cards for a membership. And then I asked him, I was like, well, I emailed him, I was like, well, how do you like it? He says, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in there. And so I just mailed that to my list. That was like good enough to get the ball rolling. And then I got 2 testimonials back. One was really good. One was from a father-son situation. They'd never won a game of Magic before. They played in a very, very small 8-man tournament, and they met in the finals. And from there, I mean, at this point, I was telling Jordan at lunch, I had a guy who actually ended up winning a Pro Tour championship. I've got a great picture of him. I still keep it near and dear to my heart. Him hoisting a big trophy, $40,000 gigantic check in his hand. He's just all happy and stuff like that. But that's the process. So it's step one, get your foot in the door with getting your first testimonial. If you don't have one, it's totally understandable. Get it face-to-face. And when I say face-to-face, it could be email to email. Number two, springboard. So springboarding is taking that testimonial and sharing it with others. People respect what you inspect. It really matters. It makes a big difference. And then from there, you can trade up. You've really got something to work with. If you keep on top of it, you keep gathering testimonials face-to-face. And if, like when I meet somebody, Mark, I don't know if when we've done webinars, if I've ever brought people live to give testimonials during the event, but it's very, very typical that I'll be able at this point to bring 4 or 5 people live during a webinar and just be able to speak their mind on how they're doing with our system and even answer questions from our customers. All right, Dave?
Yeah, I just want to offer sort of a 30-foot observation. I see what Chris was talking about yesterday when you similar in...
We have a similar haircut.
Similar haircut.
We do.
And, God, what's the word? Sort of like approach. I mean, obviously, with his VSL, you're making that email in events. It's like
an event?
An event.
It's always an event. It's absolutely always an event.
And the fact that people are getting inspired and telling you that confirms that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's a big difference for a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree. And again, yeah, I totally agree. And I appreciate coming from you. That means a lot. Okay, so first of all, any questions about HTML emails or anything I've said up to this point?
What stuff did you say? Did you do?
Trading up? Okay, so here's the idea of trading up. Thanks for pointing that out. One of the things I've noticed is that a testimonial isn't just one and done. They can be progressional. So I think actually a progressional testimonial is much more inspiring than just a simple before and after. So for me, for somebody like, it might be like, well, I mean, Greg's a great example, the guy who I'm doing OMG Machines one-man gang with. When I first heard from him, he posted on the Bring the Fresh forum, he'd made $16,000. In a week doing SEO. I was like, well, that's awesome. But I don't just let that go. I got him on a webinar live with Matt Carter that week. That was when Matt was doing the academy, the SEO Experts Academy. And Greg came live during that webinar and was like, yeah, SEO works. I made $16,000 doing this, and I'm buying SEO Experts Academy. I think this is great, which by the way was great for us. It wound up being really exceptional. And I got on the phone with him. I got more testimonials from him, followed along with him. Next it was $50,000. Next it was $100,000, and now he's made over $2 million. And it's not always like that dramatic, but I found that following these testimonials along on their path, and I think this can work in relationships. So much with the mystery business, it's just like, all right. So one of the kind of perversities of the IM niche is this idea that it's push button millions or it's nothing. Right, and you should just sort of be embarrassed if you haven't found the secret button to push, and then you're a billionaire. And one of the things I learned from the magic niche and from doing stuff with mystery is that it's a progression. You got a guy who's never been kissed. He just approaches a girl. It's something to be celebrated. I mean, for him, it's a big freaking deal. And everyone reading the email can understand that. It doesn't have to be like, what? He's not married to what's her name? The one on Sports Illustrated covers all the time now, or what's her name? Kate Upton. Oh, you're not married to Kate Upton yet? You're an abject failure. You didn't push the button. You didn't. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. Everyone understands that. So, a first approach, a first date, a first kiss, whatever. These things matter. Like these stepping stones. First threesome, first fivesome. Near and dear to your heart. So that's where the trading up comes. I'll get a progression of testimonials with people, and so that kind of stuff really matters to me. I asked for questions. Travis, did you have one?
No, same way you did.
Okay, great.
I have one.
Yeah.
What are the pitfalls of HTML for those browsers don't read them, undeliverability?
It's just been such an overwhelming success. I mean, I don't know exactly whether we tripled or quadrupled or 5 times the amount of money we were making off of our emails, but it was just so dramatic that I just don't feel like doing anything else. I just sort of it's a lot like Travis's attitude of kind of my way or the highway, or just not even my way or the highway, just my way. There's no.
You can do both anyway. You can make it
Yeah,
so
that's
that there's all in most autoresponder services like Aweber you already use. You put your text-based email down the bottom and you put your HTML at the top. So really, for some reason, it doesn't get through. The text will get through.
Yeah, and sadly I don't do that, but I probably should. Yeah. No, but I most certainly should.
How long does it take you to make those?
I made this particular one on the flight to here, so it was, I mean, probably like 2 hours. But
You can do an email like that literally in, you know, if you're, I mean, you can do it so fast though. I mean, if that was a template, because like we do it with Travis, not like that, not to that level at all, but we've got a graphic template. It's like, so you get the email, it's it's graphic, and because we had better open rates and what have you, so we did it this way. Better engagement rates, better click-throughs from those emails. So we went with it, like we tested it. And if you've got a template, then bam, it's just as matter of writing the email, and then you can insert a couple of pictures here and there that you took while you're out partying or whatever, and then bam,
And I take a different approach. I take a different approach than say Travis. Like Travis is most certainly one of the people I've learned the most, maybe very, very possibly the most from about email marketing. Travis takes the approach of being brilliant, and you guys think I'm kidding. You guys think I'm kidding. Get on his list. You'll see. But he comes up with what he calls braingasms, and it's impressive. It's not a skill I have. Like sometimes I come up with nifty things and all, but really I take what I think of as a building blocks approach. So everything I do is based around essentially testimonials, results. Like, you know, we got this new website ranked #1. The last email before this that led into the whole Dallas SEO experts was that Greg ranked a website #1 for Delaware SEO. And so I was like, hey, this is news. You know, we rank now #1 for Delaware SEO, and we're using this new plugin called something, Lead Explosion or something like that, Lead Eruption, and it looks really great. And here's what it looks like. And click through here if you like this, buy Lead Eruption. It's a great plugin, and I've created a bonus for you, like that kind of thing. But it's all based on building blocks, testimonials or something that a new site that we have ranked, something like that. Okay, any more questions about HTML, and I'll get to my test results, kind of bang things out? No? Okay, great. All right, so one of the things I mentioned is that we really focus in on SEO and high-ticket conversion. First of all, just so you guys know, SEO isn't dead. Penguin and Panda didn't kill it. It's not like you go into Google and type in gold IRA, and Google's like, screw you. I'm not going to give you any results. So the results are there. We have a lot of success with it. I'm not going to give a webinar on this right now, but if anybody's struggling with SEO and wants to talk to me, let me know, and I'll at least hook you up with one of our introductory products, and you can look through it, and people tend to have success. Okay, now high-ticket conversion. This is a particularly interesting. It winds up being kind of like, I wouldn't call it a split test. I call it like a switch test, where we switch from doing one thing to another. So something wasn't giving us a satisfactory result, and so we switched to something different. It began with a webinar with Travis. I know this is like the Travis Sago show up here, part 2. It begins with a webinar with Travis. So I had been really focused on our mystery stuff, and I just hadn't been in the online marketing niche for a while. I didn't get back into it until the FTC laws changed. I got real fired up by that. I was like, man, I'm going to make a killing with testimonials now that everyone else is out. And so Travis really helped me get back into it. I'd never done a webinar before. I did one webinar before I did a webinar with Travis. I did one with Mike Hill, and it converted. I was trying to go back through the numbers. It really converted pretty well on the front end, about 25%, which we were really excited. This is for Bring the Fresh, which is a $97 product with a essentially $400 upsell, but it's broken out over payments. And in the early days when Travis first started promoting Bring the Fresh Basic was $300, and the upsell was $200 more. And we found out that we had, it was all kind of strange when we began, but we wound up kind of chunking it down a little bit. I'd done one webinar with Mike Hill. We did 25% on the front end. We did like 3 back-end sales. It was a disaster on the back end. So when we did it with Travis, Travis actually opened it up to his affiliate list, and he really wanted it to do well. He wanted to kind of upgrade the bum marketing, and he was like, man, we got to bundle, not bundle the front end and the back end, but he was like, I really want to make sure that we make this back end sale. And so on the webinar, we were extremely transparent with what the front end and the back end was. And Travis, I was trying to remember, I know we converted almost exactly the same. It was like 25% on the front end. I want to say it was like 35% on the back end. I don't exactly remember. Do you remember at all?
Yeah, I mean, payments came in for months and months. I'm thinking it was somewhere between 30 and 40%, though.
Yeah, somewhere between 30 and 40%. So that's a switch test. So like going from hey, here's the product, and then not really talking much about the upsell, and then the upsell turns into catastrophe, to be, like just really stating it clear. We wound up with about the same on the front end and really crushed on the back end. That was really important for us because, again, the back end's like 400, the front end's like 100. It's not even close. Okay, so the second step in that process is when we released OMG, which was about 7 months ago. We remembered what happened with things with Travis. And by the way, we kept doing that in webinars, kept having consistent results like that with Bring the Fresh. So when we released OMG, we started with a $50 ebook and a $100 upsell called Nitro. And then our main thing was we're trying to sell this NHB coaching that you saw me talking about, where it's a $2,500 coaching. Now, the front end did very well. We didn't talk about the upsell, but we did talk very clearly about the coaching. So we're like, buy this offer. We do have coaching. We're not selling that to you right now. The coaching is in about the $2,000 range. It's special. It's amazing. But that's not what this is about. This is about the front end offer. And what we did was extremely well on the front end. I don't have the exact numbers. The front end offer did great. The upsell did terrible. We actually just got rid of it. We actually wound up bundling it together. But the coaching, 1 in every 15 people who bought the $50 course bought the coaching. And this is with no phone calls, just by email marketing and some webinars. So we kept that in mind. We went on, we bundled things. Mark was actually the #3 affiliate in our big OMG launch. So by the time we did a webinar with you, we actually had them fused together. So we were just selling one thing for $148 instead of $49 and $99. And that wound up working much better. So in essence, that's a very similar thing. And we got very similar close ratios on the $148 product that we were getting on the $50 product. So worth keeping that in mind. The third instance of this was with Bring the Fresh 2013. We launched this. Front-end offers were brisk as always. At this point, Bring the Fresh was a $7 trial for 7 days, very similar to what Brad was talking about. $7 trial for 7 days, and then it kicks up to depending on the offer, between 37 more or 97 or 90 more or whatever. But again, the whole thing with Bring the Fresh is the back end. $7 trial for 7 days, and then $66 for 6 months, capped at 6 months. The front end did very well as always. The back end was a disaster. We didn't. Kelly insisted that we not talk about the back end, and that we not talk about neither our upsell nor our back end. And they were both an absolute disaster. We had hundreds of orders. We were selling 1 in 32 on the upsell, which is just horrendous for us. It was just horrendous. And then we were making absolutely no back end sales, and no one was sticking to the trials. The trials just started plummeting. So David Mills went back in and redid the funnel, where in the very front end offer explained clearly the offer, clearly the upsell, and clearly the back end. And by the end of the launch, we were up to 26% conversion on the back end offer. And again, that back end offer is significant. It's a $400 uptick, and we also went from converting like less than half from the trial to the actual payment to whatever, 75% or more. So that's the third one. Fourth time, commission conspiracy. This actually gets pretty funny. Maybe I can actually pull this up.
Can I? Yeah. Because so what you're saying is to pre-frame it before they even take the front end, and that's what's giving you.
Yeah, we think we're getting like a little bit more on the front end with this. We think it's moving the needle a little bit more towards the positive on the front end, but it's just killing it for us on the upsell on the back end.
Some people, they don't trust or don't like, especially in the IM niche, but even in other niches, some people don't like low ticket offers for whatever reason, so they almost like buy the low ticket, I'm just guessing, maybe buying the low ticket offer because they think, well, I want to actually get the high ticket thing that he talked about. Maybe, I'm just guessing.
Well, I think
and then other people, there may have been some people that put off as well, because they saw that, but as a result, you had the sort of net win overall.
Well, it's so fascinating because when we did it on the webinar, I knew it would work. But I didn't freaking think about it in online. But you did, and that's what you're saying. Just you're pre-framing it before they even hit the department. They already know it's going to be there.
They know it's going to be there. Well, this one is a really dramatic example. So this is Commission Conspiracy. This is the follow-up to OMG Machines. It's like our second launch. It's again, it's like 50, 100, I think, is the way it goes. So 50 for the front end, 100 for the upsell, and then same back end, the same NHB coaching, the $2,500 coaching on the back end. So this is our sales letter, and my screen's moving pretty slow here. There's a sales letter video. By the way, you guys have talked about different sales letter video formats. I do picture-in-picture videos, and they kill it for us. Now, this is in the IM niche, but I do picture-in-picture where most of the screen is like me looking at a website, or in this case, I just read the sales letter with my notes and stuff like that. And it goes really good for us for what that's worth. Okay, so anyways, testimonials, all that stuff. Here's the rundown, money, we're making it. Mark would say, why is it so spammy? But it's not your fault, guys. Okay, so check this out. Proudly introducing OMG Machines Commission Conspiracy Part 1. Right there in the sales letter. Here's Part 1. Part 1 is $45, the price of a used college textbook. Right here, right below it, proudly introducing OMG Machines Commission Conspiracy Part 2. Cleverly named. And part 2, which I expect 90% of folks to get immediately following Part 1, is $99. The two parts taken as a whole could easily form a $1,000 course, and I may sell it for just that at some point. But temporarily now, the current price makes me happy to give it to you. So that's the Part 1 and Part 2. Join the conspiracy. Oh, by the way, we've been talking about what to say on order buttons. Join the conspiracy. Join the conspiracy. Okay, so numbers. Front end converted great. We had EPCs. The lowest dog, worst EPCs we got from like bad lists and stuff like that was $1.50. We had 2 lists convert, 2 quite significant lists convert over $10,000 worth of traffic at least $10,000, or sorry, $10 EPC. $10,000 EPC would be very good. $10. So we had 2. We had 1 list that came in at $10 EPC on volume around $12,000 or $13,000 in sales, and another list came in at $13 EPC on a volume of significantly more, like $40,000, $50,000. So it really converted. Front end converted great. Back end converted 56%. And I want to point out there's a huge difference between 50% and 56%. I mean, really, like, it's $100, right? I mean, it's just a lot of money. Okay, so I think that's a pretty, you can kind of see the progression of how this is going. We just got done doing a promotion last week for something called Offline Legion. It was like a low to mid 6-figure launch. We came in as the #1 affiliate. What we did that the other affiliates didn't do, and I'm convinced this is why we succeeded, is we were the ones who laid out exactly what their full funnel was. They didn't do this in the sales letter. In the sales letter, they did the typical thing. You get the sun, moon, and stars when you give us $10, right? And we were like, actually, you know, you get a really great PDF for $10, and here's upsell #1. This is why it's good. Here's upsell #2. Here's why it's good. Get it, you know, and you get our bonus and so forth. It's a $10 front-end product. We did $11 EPCs on it. They did a last day contest for like whatever, a big screen plasma TV. So it was, strangely enough, the way that they worded it, it was like the number of orders per product. Like, so whatever product was tied to whatever guru that had the most sales won the TV. So I took #1 and #3 because I did so many upsells. Actually, I took #1, #3, and #5 because he had 2 upsells. We just sold so many of the upsells. Like almost all of my customers who bought through the funnel. So that's what I got for you guys. Any questions? Jackson?
You know the part 1, part 2 stuff?
Yeah.
Does that work with dating offers?
No. Yes, of course it would work with dating offers. Yeah, I absolutely. I'm telling you guys this because I think that this will obviously help you. Yeah, I mean, and I think it's good. Like you got to see the progression of it. So, like, there's the old story. The wife's husband says, "Hey, honey, why do you cut the ham at both ends?" And she gets really offended at him. She calls her mom, and she's like, "Mom, you wouldn't believe what Bill said." And she's like, "Yo, but Mom, why do we cut the ham from both ends?" And the mom calls Grammy, and Grammy's like, "Because the pan's too small." You know? So much of internet marketing, guys, I mean, I've been back from the very beginning, from the first $1 million a day launch. I see these launches going on, copying things that we were doing back then out of absolute gun-to-the-head necessity. And they're copying it in circumstances that have no correlation for no reason. So hopefully, the way I presented this, I hope it kind of gave you insight in a way that'll help you like see what we are doing, why we are doing it. And I'll tell you this, I think I have a few conclusions from this. I will take questions. one of the conclusions that I've drawn is that people respect what you inspect. Our customers are basically thinking, like, obviously one of the great, brilliant sales letters of all time, or sales letter videos of all time, is the Dow Badass one. The issue is, you get the sun, the moon, the stars. You know, like, I mean, you do. And so, what else could you possibly need? Like, why do you need the advanced series? You know, I mean, it's just a challenge. And so, with ours, what we're saying is, you're going to be with us for the long haul. And by the way, on Commission Conspiracy, we exact same, 1 to 15. 1 out of every 15 customers buys the coaching. So it doesn't matter what we sell on the front end. They're going to uptake 1 in 15 on the back end. I think that saying that there's a progression. This is, I was talking to, with Lance about this before. You know, back in the mystery days, we were actually just talking about it with Jordan a few minutes ago, how there was really a build-out for them to be able to do those incredible in-field coaching sessions. Lance, what was the breakdown for them to be able to take people in-field?
In terms of?
Like the number of coaches per number of students.
Oh, it was, it's like 2 students to 1 coach. And,
right.
And then one of every other coach has to be a guy that's been coaching for years.
Right. So basically, for every 4 people, you have to have 1 experienced coach. And
well, that's how we do it. That's not
right, but it is how you did it, and you had good success.
To really get to have successful workshops, that's what you do.
Well, and one of the things that happened is people would go out in field and they would see that there's other people having progressional success with this. There is somewhere to go with this. There is like somewhere where you can take this to the next level. And I think that that's one of the things that we're really doing with OMG is like we're kind of showing like we're going to be here. You know, we were here yesterday. We're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to be here next year. And I think that one of the things that's really scary for people is the thought that you're going to just take their money and run. It's a humiliating thought. So I think that that's one of the big reasons why we're having success with this. Anyways, any questions?
I think I missed it. Was part 1 and part 2, was that one offer? Is that like?
No, it wasn't. See, okay, so here's one of the interesting things is it actually says join the conspiracy part 1 on the order button. I'm glad you brought that up. I guess we're on echo blank here. I don't know, can you see it from here? It says part 1 instant access.
So what was the value of showing part 2? Is that the upsell you're targeting?
Can you actually,
yeah.
Can you buy part 1 alone, or you can't?
Yeah, you can buy part 1 alone, but you're just going to die if you do. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
yeah, you can buy part 1 alone.
Once they click on part 1, do you then again say, no, really?
Oh, actually, this is actually pretty funny. So once they complete their order, so they buy part 1, and it's on the order completion page. Weirdly enough, PowerPay that we did this through, or Product Pay that we did this through, wasn't even really set up for this sort of thing. So we actually had to kind of mangle it around. It was like a little bit of necessity, but they have to get in their email address so they can get access to the course and stuff like that. So we say at the very beginning of things, you know, your access is below. I'm about to explain to you, you know, part 2, but your access is below, and you know, so we kind of make that transition right there on the page and really go for, and again, yeah, 56%. Oh, and this, guys, this is no refund offer. This is no refunds. You know, we just say it. We just say in this letter, our focus is for our customers. And now there's a lot of proof in this letter. This is there's probably, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. There's probably 20 or 30 video testimonials in here. I don't know if they're going to pop up. I guess the internet on my phone is kind of slow. Guys, these are all video testimonials on YouTube. A lot of them have. And a lot with like screen captures, you know, of their shopping carts and how they're doing. Jason Calori, $600,000 in gold sales for real. All this stuff, Martin. So, oh, this is that picture I told you about. Can you see it? That's Fletch. He's making his comeback. Great. All right, anybody else?
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier how you were able to make a massive turnaround with your upsell flow from horrendous to really good.
Yeah.
Do you recall any specific things you did or tweaked?
Yeah, that's what the whole presentation was about. So what we did was...
Yeah, I got that. But
okay, so no, I didn't mean to be... you're the one throwing the party tonight. I don't want to make you angry. So a really great example of that was Bring the Fresh 2013. Actually, it happened both times with Bring the Fresh, where we just didn't talk about...
that was the secret. You didn't talk about the back end.
We didn't talk about the upsell or the back end in both of those cases.
But that was what didn't get them the upsells. Talking about it before that is the pre-frame. It's all about the pre-frame is what
Yeah.
I'm getting from this. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it also encourages consumption. I mean, it really like, you know, I mean, obviously the whole thing is like a mosaic that works together. Like without the testimonials it doesn't really work. Like, I'm just going to, we realized this with selling mystery stuff. We're like, it's mystery. You know, it's a $7,000 boot camp with mystery. Buy it, no refunds. What are you thinking? It's mystery. You know what you're getting. You're getting a $7,000 mystery workshop. Pay. You know, like that kind of thing. Now, we did have the testimonials and so forth, but also, you know, mystery has like this legendary, you know, record for, you know, success with students and stuff like that. So that's does that answer your question?
So, Mike, do you think the part one, sorry, I can't see it, the part one, part two thing was the real magic in that, or have you tried to, like, you know, you get this and then as part of this blah blah blah, you're going to get the opportunity to get X, or if you just tried it like that, you know what I mean? That's
a good question. We tried to get cute with things. Who was it that had the upsells, the bonus? Was that you, Chris? Was like the bonus, or does anyone remember? Somebody had like the get your bonus, and it was the upsell. Does anyone remember who that was? Brad? Brad, was that was you, right? Yeah, the bonus. Yeah, we tried to do that with, that was the first time we launched OMG. We had Nitro, which was the upsell on that, but we didn't talk about the upsell. And we had it as kind of like a bonus, like, you know, to collect your bonus. We actually got a lot of like kickback on that. But I suspect that there's something that you're doing in your framing. I mean, is there anything you're doing in your framing to set that up?
No, I mean, it's like I said earlier, it's not just one piece. It's like everything runs as a big part of a bigger thing. So
yeah, it's the same with us.
Yeah, so it's not like it's just that page that does it. So you can get away with being a lot more aggressive or something like that, because when they get on the back.
Because you've already built up so much ahead of steam.
There's so much social proof that everybody else has it.
That's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. There's so much social proof by the time that they get in that, you know, and we say like, this course is full and complete. You know, it's full, complete, and it's excellent. But we can't, like, for example, one of the things that we say is we can't teach you everything that we can teach you about search engine domination in this course. That's something that you need our NHB coaching for, because it's something that's more involved. It requires hand-holding and more than that. You know, it takes, you know, extra time and hand-holding, and so that's for our NHB course. But what you're going to learn in this course is excellent and fully sufficient for making terrific profits.
Yeah, so the way I'm going to test it is in my VSL. I'll just say, okay, here's the Girl Gets Ring at the gold level, and then once you order that, you're going to get an opportunity to go get the Girl Gets Ring platinum level, which includes this, and that. You know, but right now they don't even know that. They just push that out of the cart button, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, the order's not complete, you know, and it's like, oh, crap.
See, that's what I'm kind of getting at, because that's really, really easy to do.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's why I kind of asked that question. Do you know that the step part one, part two is the secret sauce? Or do you think
I think that
pre-frame would still work?
Yeah, the main thing is.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
all born out of the webinar. Just pre-frame it. Just tell them what's going to happen after they did that. And yes, there is an upsell, and here's what's in the upsell.
Yeah, and here's why it's an upsell.
Discount, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean, everyone talks about transparency, but what do they do about it? You know?
Right.
I mean,
well, here's the other thing that nobody's considering is the fact that even though you're still trying to get someone to use the product they just bought, everybody wants to know what's next.
Right.
Like, what's next? Right?
What's next?
Once I get to this point, then what? And then what? And so that's kind of, and that's their mindset. They know, even though you're trying to kind of hold it back, like, look, man, just do this stuff right here first, just focus on this. They're still there. So letting them know what's next, it's like, okay, this isn't it. There's more down this yellow road thing or whatever.
Yeah, it's what we call future pacing. One of the biggest things that we found in relationship advice for men is that if they don't know to future pace their woman, the woman will wind up in a situation where she'll say, like, something along these lines, I just can't see it. And what she means is she can't see it. She literally can't see the relationship going forward. She's having fun right now, but she can't see into the future. And the mistake that the guy's making at that point is he's not future pacing. He's not painting the picture of them, you know, walking down the road hand in hand 5 years from now, being like, man, this is the best move that we ever made. Or, you know, sitting on the porch, you know, 50 years from now, you know, looking back at all those wonderful days where every day was the best day of your life. And it's the same thing with the customers. Like, so many of the people I'm working with at this point are customers who have been, you know, triumphant with me. People who have come along. You know, I mean, at this point, like, you know, we've built up a head of steam. It wasn't like day one we did this, but anyways, yeah. I mean, I think that's. I mean, how much of your marketing is centered around your, you know, customer success that kind of comes automatically?
Well, yeah. Well, even then, I mean, still, promote other products and other niches based on what's next, because they want to know, like, all right, once I get in shape, then what?
Yeah.
I think it would be really interesting, too, to even pre-frame the coaching, but you say you can't have the coaching until...
Oh, we say that.
Yeah, you can't have the coaching until you take the second level.
Yeah, we say it. And one of the things we found is that giving the coaching offer to a list where they haven't gotten this first, I mean, doesn't cover it anywhere near 1 to 15 like we do now. And we get people that just panic. You know, they get in there and they're like, they don't get what's going on. They don't get the value proposition. It's all a mess.
So when do you actually sell the coaching offer after they buy the?
Oh, I mean, it just kind of comes along like it's in their membership area. Whenever I email, it'll be like in the pre-head and in the PS. Jordan? The coaching's $2,500. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you do a one pay, it's like $2,199 or something. I mean, it's maybe like $2,200. But again, like that's no refunds, and we have so many testimonials from our coaching customers. I mean, we have, I mean, if you count them all together, hundreds. You know, because a lot of people testify a number of times and kind of upgrade things. We did one webinar recently with some guys, and I just started picking people out of the audience that I knew were our coaching club members, and just having them come live. And I would just say to them, because we were trying to sell like a kind of a more expensive version of this, of like $1,000, and I just kept asking person after person, would you have paid $20,000 for our NHB coaching? And every single one of them said, yeah, you know, I would have paid it. It would have been a bargain. So it's a good program. Yeah. We just have the one. Yeah. So we have one upsell, and then we go to the coaching.
So it's $400, so it was 100 and then 400.
Oh, I'm sorry, and I must have confused everybody. I was talking about two different businesses. So Bring the Fresh, the essential price point of Bring the Fresh is either $40 or $99 on the front end, and that usually most of the sales included a trial, $7 7 day to get there. And then Bring the Fresh then went up to $4.99. It never had coaching. What we had for it was done-for-you websites that were $1,000 range. We sold a lot of those, and that was the upsell there. And again, we saw the same thing. Like if you go to Warrior Forum right now and look at the Bring the Fresh sales letter, you'll see like that we talk about the done-for-you coaching in there. We talk about the upsell in there, and so that's the Bring the Fresh. OMG, which probably realistically speaking is the more profitable business at this point, starts with typically either a front end that's like it's either 50, 100, and then to the 2,500, or it's just 148 for both of them jammed together, and then straight to the
part two is the 50 and 100, right?
Yeah.
So you still have that. So it's two upsells basically. Your part two.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you think of the coaching as an upsell, yeah. Right. In that case, yeah. I was kind of thinking of it as like the back end. Dave?
Yeah, I was trying to get a sense of your approach to go from the low ticket, the $10.99 to $2,500 or to a $10,000. Or I mean, is it generally that you just make the first sale and then you'll sort of mention it multiple times over webinars?
Yeah, it's just really low key. Like I mean, we'll just do it like a whole webinar, and then at the end of it, be like, hey, if you haven't jumped in on NHB, and by the way, 3 of the people that you heard from today, they're NHB clients. Do you guys want to speak out? Is there anyone else on the webinar who's in NHB who wants to put the word out? And I'll just bring them live, and I'll bring them live. I'll make them organizers so they can see the comments in the question box. Because I really ask everyone, this person came on, took their valuable time out of their day to be a part of this event. Please thank them, and they'll get a bunch of thank yous and stuff like that, which they deserve. They're coming on. And by the way, like these testimonials that we have, I mean, they're great testimonials, but they're just stuffed with content. I mean, they're just stuffed. Like our customers are taking what we're doing, but they're completely taking it to the next level, like with how they're doing it and so forth. Dave?
Yeah, because we were talking both here, and we were talking a lot about selling, coaching 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, and until listening to you, or actually until something Mark said before, I'm thinking pretty much you need to be on the phone with somebody. And what you're saying is no, you don't.
You don't.
But so what I'm also seeing is that it sounds like it was a very sporadic, casual approach. I mean, it's probably very carefully strategize, but the way it comes across is very casual and sporadic.
Yeah.
Like there's a long funnel or a lot of...
I think people experience it as casual and sporadic. I know Mark, like the first couple times I did webinars with Mark was like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, not exactly, but like he just didn't understand.
Well, I noticed at that point in time on the webinar that our drop-off rate at the start was the highest I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Because my guys being, say, SEO experts, and people that, like from the Traffic Travis list, people that are used to having clients, they're not in the BizOp niche.
Yeah.
They see all these income screenshots.
Yeah.
And they instantly...
Because what we were doing is showing our customers.
They instantly think, oh, this is a scam, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And the drop-off...
No, and we had to do it completely different. Like, by the time we did the OMG webinar, we did things completely different for you, and then it worked much better.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it still converted well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I was just sort of wondering, like, are you going to stop, like, showing testimonials? Like, you showed, like, it went for about half an hour of testimonials, and these guys are here to learn SEO tips, you know.
Hey guys, problem agitates all. Problem agitates all. It's got to happen.
Yeah, it's because you're so used to having a guy with a list that is, say, a BizOp list,
Absolutely.
and they want to see all of
Yeah.
that. And there's just a different want factor. These guys, maybe they would have been more interested in seeing high search engine rankings shown over and over.
Yeah.
Which I think...
Well, that's what we did. When we did the second webinar with you, when we did the OMG webinar, we were just like, here's a site, here's how it's ranked, here's how we did it. Here's a site, here's how it's ranked, here's how we did it. And your people went, they went bonkers. You took third in that. It was a huge contest. You took third in it. Yeah.
It's horses for course, I guess.
Do you also have a direct approach to filling up these high-end programs with or without a phone call, or is it pretty much...
When you say direct approach?
Well, where you're going in and you're saying, want to tell you about the program, or want to...
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, about every 2 months, like this last email that I posted up for you was the most aggressive as it gets. It was an FAQ. So, like, these are the biggest misconceptions that people have about NHB, including, by the way, if you think this is push button millions, it's not. You know...
What he does too, David, maybe he's not getting clear, is that he answers every email. So if they have a question, he'll answer it, and then he flows it into basically a pitch right there in the email. You should really check out the coach.
Oh, yeah, I saw a ton through emails.
Yeah. And then do a very aggressive order page or sales letter, or just an order? Just
for the coaching?
Or how do you...
Guys, it's omgmachines.com/NHB if you want to write it down. And then I think it would be pretty disorienting if I pulled it up because it would just be a bunch of words and I'd have to walk you through it. But omgmachines.com/NHB. Yeah, for no holds barred. That's the sales letter. But there's a really critical companion page that goes with it, which is omgmachines.com/blog/NHB. And there's, I think, 60 some odd either Facebook or regular comments on there from current NHB members that are having success with it. And then, they experience other, like one of the things is, the testimonials on the sales letter will just be a short video clip from the portion, from the interview, just the money part where they're like, $20,000, just, yep, and it was OMG or like whatever. But then we have the extended interviews, and a lot of them, they're NHB members. We have the extended interviews as part of the content in the membership area. And they're always gushing about me and Greg, like, oh my gosh, Mike, Greg, and Dave, they bring up the sun, the moon, the stars. Yeah, they're awesome. Like, I was an unemployed construction worker or whatever, and it's true, they were. So that's generally. I mean, I think really it's a lot like what Brad said. It's a whole thing. It's not like I changed the headline and now I make $200,000 a month or whatever.
You're just constantly feeding into that.
It's an annihilation engine. That's why I call it the annihilation engine. There's no no survival. You just wham wham wham. There's no resisting it. It's an unstoppable advantage. Okay, anybody else? Good? All right, thank you guys very, very much.
Now when you do these, do you usually look at the camera?
Yeah, it's the energy is between us, and they're here too. Gotcha. So it's Mike here, and I'm here with Greg. And Greg, first of all, I want to thank you for letting me into your home. You've been extremely generous with your time. I understand you're in the final stages of you're kicking your family off. So
Can't wait.
You have a new arrival in just a few weeks, and so really especially grateful for you being so generous and publicly testifying about the success that you've had with some of the moves that you've learned from Kelly and me. But you know, it's funny when Elena and I were driving in. We're near your home in Delaware, and when we were driving in, we drove past one of these little strip malls, and it said, "Cash for your gold." And I was thinking to myself, you know, there's got to be people driving by these places, or there's another place like checks cash, cash for your gold, like that kind of thing. And people are thinking, man, I want cash right now. You know, I wish I had gold, like that kind of thing. But you know, recently you were able to take one of the shortcuts, you know, that you learned from Kelly and me, and you've turned it into gold, and you've gone to the cash for gold place again and again, day in, day out, to the tune of, well, you were telling Lynn and I what the numbers, they're staggering. What are they adding up to right now?
Well, in the past 5 months, I've done about $450,000, and about, I'd say 80 to 85% of that's profit. So
80 to 85% of that's profit. So you're looking ballpark over $300,000 in profit.
Oh, at least, yeah.
And it's awesome. I mean, obviously. So what's that been like? Where were you at 5 months ago? So 5 months ago versus today.
It's actually funny. 5 months ago, a lot of this actually happened while I had a full-time job.
Yeah.
So there's people out there that are like, you know, these people probably do this full-time, they work all day, but I mean, I got this started while I was working a full-time job.
Yeah, you're dealing cards, right?
I was dealing cards at Delaware Park, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just come home, I would work 5, 6, 7 hours a night, and I mean, eventually it just turned into full-time. I was able to quit my job. And
yeah, you just quit your job a few weeks ago, right?
It's about a month and a half ago. Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people want to know.
Second time around.
A lot of people want to know how to kill their day job. So here's the thing. Like, you've been able to do something. We were talking about this opportunity, and a lot of people don't realize it's out there. I mean, they know it, but do they really know it? SCon, SEO consulting. There's so many folks out there who already have a business started. They've got business capital to invest in advertising. They want to advertise on the internet. They don't know how. And it's such a big part of the population right now. And something that you're experiencing day after day, you know, you're you know, in essence cashing, you know, between say $1,000 and $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
From doing this.
I just had like a $25,000 day the other day. It's unreal.
It's awesome, dude. It's really awesome. So, so in that before and after picture, the difference maker for you was just doing some, you know, helping somebody else out. You
Absolutely,
know,
like,
yeah. So what was that like? Like, what's that timeline like? You know, for your first, you know, just getting things sparked. Because for so many people, what they need to do is they need to know how. Like, you know, they're sitting at home right now watching this video, and they're thinking, man, you know, I would love to make money from my home, because this is we're in your home right now. You know, there's no fancy office here. You know, there's no secretary back there that's gonna, you know, bring you a pile of papers that you have to mess around with. No employees, no nothing. Just you know, relaxing at home. You know, one-man job. What took you from, you know, like, what was the first move? Like, how did you make your first SEO consulting deal?
I mean, I think well, like I told you when we were talking earlier, I found out my girlfriend was pregnant, and that was kind of just like the main spark for me. Someone that wants to make sure my family's set up and all that, so that just really motivated me. I mean, and at the same time that happened, I found Bring the Fresh. I mean, the strategies I found in there just worked perfectly together with what I found. Around that time, I had a guy who offered to buy a site from me, which I'd made a while ago. And from there, it was just about the way I talked to him and the way I treated him. Yeah, a lot of times I would give him free sites. For example, for Christmas, I gave him like $5,000 worth of free sites.
Yeah.
People don't understand, if you just treat customers right from the get-go,
yeah,
they'll give you so much more work. mean, that has just given me so much work. I can't even tell you how much work it's given me.
Now, how did he initially contact you? Were you selling the site on Flipper or something like that?
No,
or did you just have it up and listed?
He found the site.
Yeah.
He contacted me through I guess the DNS or the Whois information.
Yeah.
And he contacted me, so I would like to buy your site. And
Yeah.
went from there.
Okay, so let's walk folks through this. You've got a site up. Now, when you say up, what you mean is it's already ranked on the internet. You're already successfully advertising on the internet.
Yes.
Using the techniques that you've learned. And so he's like, okay, I want to contact this guy. He's got a site in a market that I care about.
Yep.
And so he gets that information. He goes to whois.com. He's like, okay, it's Greg. Greg saw your site. Looks great. Want to buy it for you. Did he make you like a specific offer, like I want to give you $1,000 for it, or I'd like to buy it from you? What did he say?
At first I told him, it was a site I hadn't touched in a few years, and I told him I like these sites that make me a few dollars a day on automated. He said, well, I'll give you $5,000 for it, 2.5 times the value, 2.5 years times the value. And I said, so.
Okay, great. So you said, fine, the reasoning worked out for you. At the time, you'd been making what, like AdSense on the sites?
Yeah, I was doing like $2, $3 a day in AdSense, maybe.
Okay, so a site that's doing $2 or $3 a day in AdSense, and this guy comes along and he's like, I'd like to buy it. Now, what most people don't realize about business, we were talking about, we had lunch before this. When I opened my first game store, I remember when it dawned on me that if everyone in my small town came and made a purchase from my store just once, that I would go bankrupt because I wouldn't have an ongoing business concern. Really what we're trying to do in business is we're trying to acquire customers and sell that customer again and again and again and again. And this is something that you have really done a masterful job of, where you've been able to take a very small pool of clients and make an astronomical amount of money with them. And this is very smart thinking because there's so many, firms out there, so many real life businesses blowing $1,000 a day, $5,000 a day, $10,000 a day trying to advertise on the internet, and they don't know a fraction of even what the people, like somebody at home watching this video might be even new to internet marketing, and they still probably know a lot more than a lot of the people that they might come into contact with.
They don't even realize it.
They don't, and you don't even realize it. So how did you make, in a sense, the most important sale that you made in this particular case, this particular client, wasn't the first sale. In a sense, it was the second sale that you made.
Absolutely.
That was even so. What happened then? Like, did you just make another site, or did you say, "Hey, do you want to do some other keywords," or what happened next?
That's exactly what I said. I said once he had bought the site from me, I said, "Hey, are you interested in other types of sites in this niche?" Because I actually had a couple sites that I had started,
yeah,
and I had showed him those sites, and from there I started working on those sites. And after that email, I said, "Hey, so I'll drop your prices." I said, "Just let me know if you want to continue working together." I said, "I'll give you cheap prices, cheaper than what most people would give you." And he gave me a list of keywords, and I started banging them out from there.
Okay, so he gave you a list of keywords. You're like, give me 10 keywords.
Actually,
whatever.
I think it's exactly what started with 10 keywords.
Great. So he gives you 10 keywords, and what you did was you said, "Look, I'm just going to take the Fast Start Guide, and I'm going to, bang these out. These sites are all going to get ranked." And because the funny thing is, so often it's the getting the site ranked. It's just not that big of a deal. It's not that hard. You get the page organized pretty well. You fire some links to it. You're ranked.
And sometimes without links, I was top of second. Sometimes top the first page.
Right.
Sites I'm selling for $2-3 grand. So.
Yeah, that's extraordinary. But the thing is, for him, you're the tooth fairy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and it's the funny thing is, in his world, you're his secret weapon. Like you're that guy. You're Mr. Right Now. You're the guy that he needs right now to get the job done. This is why. Does he understand? Could he potentially learn all the stuff that you've learned?
It's funny you said. He actually has been online since like 2004. He knows SEO. He knows the value of SEO, and he's still willing to pay me this much money.
Right. He realizes that you might be outsourcing some of your link getting.
He knows all about it.
He knows all about it, and he's just like, please, let's just do more business, because he realizes that, boom, that's a huge frontier for him. You're fulfilling that need for him, and whatever, if he's desperate to pay you $400,000, then what is he making?
Right.
You know, a lot more.
I think a lot of people, they're kind of looking to get as much money as they can, like right away. I think if you just kind of make a better than average price and just keep nailing out stuff where you're getting a good price.
Now, when you say better than average price, because I really think a lot about this. I think you're hitting on something that could be extremely valuable to somebody watching this. So, when you say better than average, what you mean is you're lower than the market,
or not even lower than the market, but if it's someone who has paid someone for this before, get an idea of what they paid and just get under it.
So that's their benchmark.
Right.
You know, in their mind, let's say somebody bought a website for $2,000, and you know, if you come in and say, listen, you know, I understand you wanted to get a website. A website's a wonderful thing to have, and you know, I can give you a much better website. And the reality is, I can do it for $1,500.
Definitely.
Then
even after that, lower your prices $100 without them even asking you. That's been a big factor in me working with this main client.
Yeah,
definitely.
So the thing is, what common thinking is going to be is like, I've got the golden goose here. Time to kill it. That's the common business mind is going to be like. I should raise my prices. This guy's making a kill. They'll be off drinking beers with their buddies, telling them about it. Their buddies are like, wow, think about all the money that he's making. You know, on the sites, and they'd be thinking, yeah, I should raise my prices. Screw this guy, blah blah blah. And next thing you know, the gravy train stopped.
Yeah, it's funny. I was selling when I first started with him, I was selling my sites for twice what I am now, and now I'm making twice as much money.
Selling them for less. Yeah, and this isn't to say that you're selling them for pittance. I mean, what are you selling an average site for now?
I'd say average now is like $2,200.
So you're selling the site for $2,200 instead of the $5,000 you were saying earlier, but it's actually like a much better process for you. Here's something else about pricing, and it's like a small thing, but a lot of people don't realize it. One of the reasons, for instance, that Kelly and I don't release $2,000, $3,000 products is we don't want that expectation. We'd rather sell a product for $500 or $800 or whatever, even if it's a $5,000 product or whatever by other people's measure. Because we don't want to have that customer like breathing down our neck, being like, where's my, $2,000 product? Where's my, it's a lot of expectation, and it can seem like it's a great thing, like to make the killer deal. But the real killer deal is the deal that gets made again and again and again and again. That's the killer deal.
And even from that, I mean, I have people who just through word of mouth know about what I'm doing for them, and I have people contact me all the time, ask me to do SEO for them.
Yeah,
and it's unreal. Just people I don't even know. I don't know how they know I'm doing this, and they contact me out of nowhere to do SEO for them.
And the thing is, taking this Rolls-Royce approach, taking the Cadillac approach to working with customers, it's one of the things I really like about your SCON approach to things. Is you're trying to have the high value relationship. It's not like you're trying to have a bunch of low-value relationships. You're trying to have one high-value relationship, and the great thing about that high-value relationship is, A, you can keep building on it. B, if you start another business relationship with somebody else, it's probably going to be the same kind of value that you're going to be expecting. Like, you're going to be looking for that high value.
Absolutely.
You're not like looking to dive in bed with just anybody for just any reason. Because
there's been plenty of people I've turned down for SEO since then. So.
Yeah. So what's an example of the kind of thing that you'd be turning down like right now?
I mean, like if someone on Freelancer contacts me and they want, because I like going off results based, because that way it's all on me and it's all on, if I get the result, I get paid. I don't like when people say, I'm willing to pay you $2,000 per month for, it just doesn't make sense to me.
And this is fascinating because very few SEO firms are willing to go results based.
If you're good enough, you should. You should.
And good enough, like in this case, doesn't mean like you have your PhD in SEO.
Absolutely
it means
not,
that you can follow a step-by-step guide and just do it.
And don't get me wrong, I would say I'm a normal SEO. I mean, there's plenty of people in BTF who are just as good, if not better than I am.
Sure.
Who don't make as much money. Just, it's the way you approach it, I believe.
And I really like that, and that's one of the reasons why, and I appreciate your humble approach to things, but I think that you are sharing something of such great value because, it could easily be that every third person watching this video could get rankings just as quickly as you can, or every second person or whatever. But there's still something missing where they want that rubber to hit the road. And, you know, if you go to the furniture store down the street, they're getting inundated day after day with people saying, I will get your site listed on the internet. You know, give me $1,000. Give me $5,000. I'm the new the Yellow Pages are contacting people now. You know, and that, you know, they're competing with you. And are any of those people guaranteeing that you're going to be on page one? Heck no. So you're going to take a totally different route. You're talking about a real maverick approach here, where you're going to say, listen, I know I can get the rankings, and if you can't, you're not even worried about it, I guess, you know, because like, what is there to be worried about?
I mean, there's a lot of tools you can use, like Market Samurai. I know you guys have used Market Samurai to gauge the competition. But, I mean, I've come across some pretty hard keywords. I mean, with the BTF approach, it kind of simplifies it so much, I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I mean, BTFers know what I'm talking about. You set up a site BTF style, I mean, just without even any links, it like ranks way up there. So
yeah.
I'm pretty confident with pretty much any keyword I can get up there, as long as it's not something crazy.
You know, and the funny thing is, once you get going, though, you have such a portfolio of sites that you can point to. I mean, if you're, let's say you got approached by, or you approached, you know, a new Blockbuster client or something like that. Now you have such an arsenal of things that you can show them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But even without that stuff, I mean, you can just show them what somebody else has done. You can. I mean, one BTFer named Mark Jones, he actually approached me at Elaine and I were at a hotel in Woodland Hills in California at a Marriott, and we got approached by this guy, and he's like, hey, I'm a BTFer, you know, killing it in SCon and blah, blah, blah. And he told me his story. He did $20,000 worth of SEO consulting, and all he did was he got 4 clients together, $5,000 a pop, got 4 clients together individually, and all he did was he just showed them what keyword density was in their market. You know, like how many searches there are for the, you know, okay, you're in the hotel business in Charlottesville. You know, you're in the you're running a sports bar, you know, in Wilmington, whatever. Sports bars Wilmington, look how many searches. And it just blew them away. Yeah. Like that just engaged them in the level so much. I was actually you know, randomly did like a tiny bit of consulting for XM Radio, and it was the same thing. I showed those guys, hey, Kelly Clarkson's getting 700,000 searches a month. How about that?
A lot of people just take that stuff for granted. You know, when they learn that stuff, they kind of just forget that most people have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
You know?
But then once you're dealing with that, like once you're on that playing field, like now everything is shifting in your favor. You know, when the yellow books, when the Yellow Pages is coming by these people's houses, or you know, coming by their business to try to solicit, you know, advertising business, they're not pulling out Market Samurai. They're not firing up the Google free keyword tool. They've never seen it.
Searches each term gets.
They don't know any of that stuff. They don't know any of that stuff. And I'm not saying this because I'm saying that you should go in and intimidate your customer with this information. I would do the opposite. I would show the customer how easy it is to access this information for free, how they can do it for free on their own from their home computer anytime that they want. I would lower that intimidation level. For me personally, I refuse to work with somebody who's trying to intimidate me. I don't want it.
Right.
Usually to me, if someone's trying to intimidate me, it's either because they have bad motives or they don't know what they're doing. Or
so
both.
When you go into someone like that, a good thing to do is just kind of not go in there to, like with the mindset to sell to them. Kind of go in there with a mindset to help them. You know, show them how everything works, and from there, it kind of just meshes it together.
I really like what you're saying, because one of the things that I don't feel from you is I don't feel a sense of pressure from you. I don't feel like a sense of you're trying to get something from me. Now, I mean, obviously, you know, we're friends and we're just hanging out in this situation. Someone watching this might say, you know, what's Mike talking about? But, you know, I've been successful with doing copywriting and internet sales, and I've been successful doing face-to-face sales, but I've also been unsuccessful. And I would say that the times when I've been unsuccessful were the times when my perspective was that I would like look out at the world and feel like everybody else had something that I wanted. You know, there's a number of people have tried network marketing, like Amway and that kind of thing, and it can be very hard on people's lives when they do this stuff because they kind of get to a mindset where they look around and everybody, the new lens that they see the world through is that everyone is a possible customer. And then it's all like one big wrestling match to try to get that person to give you money. And there's no happiness, there's no quality of life when all of your friends are now a customer list. Right. When every person that you meet at a restaurant is, you know, a potential customer. It just doesn't, it's just not a nice quality of life, because then even if somebody orders something, then you're just kind of back to normal. And if somebody doesn't order something, I had the same problem with relationships when I was, you know, really first getting started trying to understand how romantic and personal relationships work. You know, I was just like any other guy who was just frustrated. You know, I felt like there were, you know, women out there, they have what I want, I can't get it. You know, I don't feel good about it, or whether I can or can't. It's just not a good feeling. You know, it's a feeling that's filled with pressure, and it's packed with expectations, and it's wound up in this way that's very unhealthy and doesn't feel good. And instead what I'm reading off of you is this much healthier attitude of, it's kind of like value-based. Like you feel like you're a businessman of high value.
It's funny you mentioned that pressure thing, because actually a lot of, like, what I'll email my clients and, you know, tell them their site's ready, and even when I email them, I'll say, look, I'll say, hey, your site's ready, but if you don't want to buy it still, don't worry about it. A lot of people will say, why would you do it? But, like, why would you do that? Well, that kind of takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
A lot of people might not understand that, but I'll email them, I'll say, hey, your site's in the top, because this main guy usually pays me when they're top 5. I'll say, hey, these sites are in the top 5. If you don't want any of them, you know, no big deal. I'll keep them and keep them for AdSense. No big deal.
Yeah.
And it works out.
Yeah, you know, I think that what you're saying is just so healthy. You know, I mean, just even having those AdSense blocks on those sites is such a helpful thing, because then your stable base is taken care of. The site's already paying for itself.
Right.
You know, what's the problem?
And if he doesn't buy it, what's up? Well, I'm going to make a few dollars a day in AdSense. It's no big deal, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like your arm is going to fall off. I mean, just nothing bad. Nothing bad's going to happen. And the way you built it, it's really, this is a cool lesson, because that site is a part of it's a value to you. It's not junk that's out there that only gains value when somebody hands you a check, and then he's the sucker. You've offloaded it, now you don't want to see him again, you don't want to talk to him again. Because, like, what's happening is you're ending up having this high-value, long-term relationship with these people. And somebody watching this right now might be like, well, this is a bunch of hoo-ha, you know, where's the money-making? Well, here's where the money-making is. Create things of value with stable base value of their own, and then you can sell them, and if somebody doesn't want to buy them, it's still something of intrinsic value. You still want to keep it. You know, if somebody walks up to me and says, hey, I'll buy your truck for $1, I'll just say, I'm not offended, but I'll just say, no, I'll go ahead and keep it. It's just worth more to me than that.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, it turns out that if I put gas in it, it'll drive me around the place, right? And now if it didn't have that intrinsic value, you mentioned a big, huge TV set that you tried to sell on Craigslist, and you couldn't. You have your nice big new flat screen there. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank
you. But you had like a 50-inch or like an old big, you know.
It was like a big bulky, like, kind of entertainment.
Yeah, like 10 years ago it was the top of the line.
Right.
Still works great, but anyways, it took you what, like 3 days to give it away?
I put it on there for $175, no one bought it. Put it on for $75, got a few emails, no one bought it. I put it on there for free, and took like 5 days to get rid of it. It was like
5 days to get rid of it, and that shows you, like, when something has lost its value, it's lost its value, because to you it was just a pure liability, and at that point you just wanted it gone.
Yeah.
And
it's funny, because it took a while to get rid of too.
It did, right?
Because I needed it going, you know.
Because you needed it gone, but at the same time, you know, with this new TV, you're not trying to get, you know, it has intrinsic value to you. Now, granted, if somebody walked in and said they give you $100,000 for it, you know, you give it to them with your blessings. Say, hey, here you go. You want another one? I'll give it to you for $50,000. But I really like that stable-based attitude, you know, about like, hey, I'm cranking out these sites. Wow, we had an equipment malfunction for sure. I will fix that very quickly and then hop back in the frame. Just pop it up from here.
Hot.
Let's turn
have a glove over there too if you need it.
There we go. Back in. All right. Just so y'all know, it's live and not overly produced. Okay. So this is something really nifty. You know, you're creating, because a lot of what people can do with SCon is you can create the site ahead of time. You know, Mario Deal did this. He created sites for various things in New Jersey, you know, automotive categories, and then he'd approach people in that category and say, hey, you know, you run a body shop. Do you want, you know, TrentonAutoParts.com or TrentonBodyShop.com, and P.S. it's already ranked number 8.
Right. Yeah, that's a huge thing, is getting pre-ranking sites and then approaching the customer. I think Kelly mentions that and Bring the Fresh. That's definitely something that would help a lot of people out.
Yeah, because again, like, you know, now the value's on your side of things. Like you're the one with the commodity. You know, I used to do some ghostwriting in some of these launches that I'd be behind the scenes on, and invariably in internet marketing, unfortunately, people won't listen to me and Kelly's advice. We'll tell people, finish the product first, then market it. Okay? But for whatever reason, a lot of times people don't pay attention to that, don't take our advice. And so what they'll try to do is they'll try to sell a product that's not done. And to sell a product that's not done, you have to become essentially a science fiction writer. Because now you're talking about your imagination. You're selling, you know, a piece of your imagination. And that may sound good, but in reality it's actually a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's scary. It's a scary way to make your money. It's a scary way to make your lifestyle. You're also very possibly creating kind of pissed off customers in advance, because now if the product doesn't fulfill upon the expectations that you've created for it, it really creates like kind of all these contradictions. And one of the things that I'm zeroing in on with you, and I think it's a you know, it's a compliment I want to pay to you, but it's also something that I want to elevate so other people can see it and do it too, is how reality-based the moves that you're making are. They're very reality-based. Something that me and Kelly really preach is being reality-based. You know, if you have a site that's making $2 a day in AdSense, that's reality-based. Now, could it sell for a lot more? Yeah, that's fine. But it's reality-based. It's there. It's done. It exists. It may not be the greatest website in the world. I'm not saying that it's better than Amazon.com. I'm saying it's a site.
It's funny because you guys preach, like, just pump out these sites, just build these sites, and it's so funny because the main site that I sold to get this main client was from like 3 years ago. I mean, it's a site I built, and I left it up there, and it was making me $2-3 a day. I mean, look what it's led to.
Yeah.
You know, that's like 80% of my income right now.
Yeah, you know, and there's a it's a relatively famous parable in the New Testament. It's actually, I guess it's a parable. Parable's like a story that Jesus tells, where there's 3 guys, and there's like a lord who like leaves, and he leaves each of his stewards with 1 gold piece to invest. And when he returns, he's like, what did you do with the investment? And the first guy is like, oh, you know, I took the coin and I went to the markets and I traded. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. I traded and I came back with 10 gold coins. Mm-hmm. And the Lord's like, wow, fantastic job. You've been faithful over a little bit. Now I'll give you authority over many. And he gives the guy authority over 10 cities. And the second guy took 1 gold coin and came away with 5. So he's like, great job, authority over 5 cities. And the third guy did nothing. He took the coin and he buried it in the backyard. And the Lord's really upset with him, and he says, you know, you've been totally wasteful. He takes the coin from the guy who buried the coin in the backyard, and he gives it to the guy who made 10 coins. And he says, to he who hath little, even that little will be taken away from him. And he who has a lot, he will gain more. And that may sound mean, but it's kind of like the physics of the world. You know, like it's the way things work. When you have somebody who's willing to just do that little bit, you know, being faithful over this small little amount, you know, being reality-based, doing this little bit and getting it done and getting it in the can, it changed your life.
Absolutely.
Like getting that one site out there. How many barriers did that break down for you? You know, you can get a site up. Yeah, you can get it ranked. Yeah, you can make some money off of it. It has some kind of value to it. Yes, it's getting visitors. And now you can do something based on that. And so now you get approached to somebody like, oh, I like this site. Well, you did the site yourself. You can make more. You understand that. You contact the guy back. You start making other sites. Yep. You keep getting them out there. And everything is based in reality. And once you're making these reality-based moves, your IQ explodes. Like, your intelligence for what's going on, like, you understand what people talk about, like, armchair quarterbacks. The idea is that person is disconnected from the game. They're not in the game. So how can they make the right call? The quarterback is in the game. That's why the quarterback makes the call. By getting in and engaging with the business, now you've totally flipped the script. Now you're putting all the power in your favor. And let me contrast this with the ordinary attitude. And when I say ordinary, I felt this way. You've probably felt this way. Almost anybody out there who hasn't learned the right way to do things will feel the ordinary attitude. The ordinary attitude is that you're just going to build up all this information in your head. I see this a lot in relationship advice. You'll talk to guys who can tell you every pickup line in the world, every routine in the world. They have all sorts of stuff memorized, and they have yet to approach a single girl to ask them for the phone number.
Right. That's a lot to do with online marketing too. A lot of people know it, they just don't do it.
Yeah, they know it. They know about backlinks. They know about how to write a headline. They know all this stuff, and they've never implemented it. And it just changes the whole world. Like if you just put up one website, it's one of the things I did with Elena. I just showed her how to get one website ranked, and it just changed the world for her when it came to understanding internet marketing. Mm-hmm. And so I think that there's just so much. It's interesting because with SEO consulting, I think that there would be such a, and there is, we see it out there in the marketplace. You're competing with a bunch of science fiction authors. And don't be afraid of telling your customer that. Don't be afraid of saying, hey, there's a lot of pie-in-the-sky people out there, a lot of fly-by-night operations. I understand that, and that's why everything I'm doing here is reality-based. Here's the keywords. Here's the volume they're getting. Here's the site. The site's ranked. Here's the traffic it's getting. Your face here.
Another thing that's helped me big time is the sites that I build for him actually stick. What I mean? Like a lot of people will say, well, if your sites are sticking, they won't come back. But really, it's been the kind of opposite for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love it. I love it. So the conventional wisdom is that you sell them a car, the car breaks, they come back to you, buy another car.
Right.
What you're saying is, no. Make sure that the car runs.
Do a great job, yeah.
Then they'll come back to you. Wow, what a concept. Weird. Like instead of like pulling the plug, because instead you'll have other people. They'll fire links to one site, sell the site, and then repoint the links somewhere else.
Just go out with good intentions.
Yeah, like go out and well, what we're trying to do is just go for something of value here.
Right. That's right. Create as much value as you can for them.
Yeah, because really, like, we're at a situation here. We're at a crossroads, where we're either going to offer something of value, solve a problem for somebody else, or what? Like, how else are we going to get money? Like, is there really any money out there for somebody who's not solving a problem for somebody? Like, there's not one single clothing manufacturer out there selling, clothes that nobody wants, right? Like, there's no game manufacturer selling games that nobody wants to play. The people that are making the money are the people that are solving the problem. The Mr. Right Now, whoever's got the problem, the solution right now. Not someday they'll have an empire and it'll be huge. No, like what solves the problem right now? What connects me with my grandchildren? What makes my car run when my car is broken? And in the case of SCon, you've got people who have going concern businesses. They want to be able to advertise on the internet. They don't know how. You're the guy or gal that can connect the dots for that person. And the way to start is to get one website ranked for one keyword that you might be able to either just sit around making money on, selling an ebook offer, a ClickBank offer, AdSense ads, whatever. Get one site up, and then start making offers. Start letting people know, hey, this site's up for sale. You can sell it on Flippa. You can, contact local businesses that are in that vein, for that business. Any number of things. But the main thing is to be reality-based, to get it out of, it's just, even if you make a sale, even if you make a sale for a bunch of sites, because, like, for instance, with you, you're not collecting the money, then giving the sites. You're giving the sites, then collecting the money, right? So, every time that I've collected, $10,000 to then do something, it's always been like, oh.
Pressure's on.
The pressure's on. And what we're talking about here is a pressure's off, reality-based approach. And I think it's such a beautiful, lens to look through things. And I just really appreciate it. I think you've been very, very generous with your time here. I don't know if there's anything that you want to add, but I really feel like this little bit of philosophy, a little bit of marketing know-how mixed in is going to be really, really helpful to somebody getting started. I'm not saying that every single person who watches this video is going to make $400,000 in profit in the next 5 months or anything crazy like that. But what I can say is that anybody can do what you're doing.
It's funny you mention that, because when I used to see testimonials, I've never been a testimonial before, but I would kind of look at it and be like, yeah, there's kind of sale pitch for something down the road. And that's just not the case. Now that I'm here, I see that's not the case, and you kind of just listen, what we talked about. I think you could really learn a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I hope somebody does. I mean, I learned a lot in this.
It's harder for someone that I guess isn't here. They don't know the situation, but just try to kind of look at it a different way.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you very much, Greg. I really appreciate it.
That's right.
That's great. I love that. Thanks, babe.
There are two things that people on the internet are absolutely starving for, and that is content and contact. My newsletter doesn't even come up in a search engine if you type in advertising, copywriting, direct marketing, or nothing. Yet it's one of the top, and secretly one of the most profitable newsletters on the entire internet. And when people go to my website, you know what? They don't read one of the letters. You know how many they read? They read all of the letters. I feel sorry for you if you use autoresponders. I'm going to tell you something that very few people know. If you have a website and you have 10,000 customers, and you come up with another product and another sales pitch, and you mail 10,000 other pitches to them, and you mail 5,000 by email and the other 5,000 by snail mail, the snail mail pitches will fetch 20 times as many orders. As the emails. 20 times as many orders. Now, if you're selling a $37 ebook or any kind of book, and you do the math on that. Now, what everybody gets seduced by is free. I've had guys in the early days of the internet, geez, I can use my computer to call Germany free. I said, no kidding, it's free? Yeah. He said, how long did it take you to do that? It's 27 hours. It's free for him, but it took 27 hours. The internet is not free unless your time is worthless. And if you want to really make a lot of money, you want to go online and offline. You want to use combinations of both of those. Because in marketing, there's only three things. There's a product, there's a sales pitch, and there's a delivery system. And all the internet is another delivery system. Now, if you would rank delivery systems, the top is face-to-face. The second is you're talking to people on the telephone. Third is direct mail. And then there's television and radio and skywriting and matchbooks. And clear in the cellar is the internet. The internet is the least effective way to sell ever devised by man. But you should stick with it because it has so many advantages. And I want to explain to all of you the difference between effectiveness and efficiency. The internet is really, really efficient. Now, I was born in Parkersburg, West Virginia. And about 30 miles, Parkersburg is on the Ohio River, about 30 miles south of Marietta, Ohio. Now, I want you to imagine that you're trying to get to Parkersburg, West Virginia, and you're in a canoe. And you're paddling it very efficiently in the Mississippi River. Perfect J-stroke, you know, minimum energy, maximum forward movement. Doesn't matter how efficient you are, you ain't never getting to Marietta, Ohio. Because Marietta, Ohio ain't near the Mississippi River. But if you get in the Ohio River at Parkersburg, West Virginia, and you're the suckiest canoe paddler in the world, but you're going north, you know, and you're even paddling with your hands, eventually you're going to get there. So efficiency means nothing, you know, if it isn't coupled with effectiveness. There's a couple things about the internet that surprise me that people miss. And I want to talk about a couple of those. Some of you, have any of you been to my website, to GaryHalbertLetter.com? Okay, well, you know I have, I actually have written about, well, I've written a monthly newsletter since 1986. And I've got about a third of those newsletters on the net. And I just put them up there quite seriously, honestly, altruistically. I wasn't even thinking about making a profit. It's just that so many people had written me about my information helping them, I thought it'd be nice to put it up there. And now the thing is read in 90 countries. I got about a third of the letters up. And I get letters every day from people begging me to buy stuff. Don't you have anything to sell? You know, seriously, they beg me to buy stuff, and I'm now finally starting to tag in some stuff on there. And what I learned about snail mail, there's a great thing, there's two dynamics at work here. Because of spam filters, it's very difficult, much more difficult than it used to be, to get an email message delivered. It's like you have 3 toxic mother-in-laws answering your phones for you, you know? And she says, oh, it's for Tim. She says, Pam Anderson's calling. She wants to have sex with him. He wouldn't want that call, you know, and she hangs it up, you know. Now, the first one is who delivers your message, you know, if you have a mass mailer, your autoresponder, somebody. Or because they'll be afraid that if they send out something that's Spamish, that AOL or Yahoo or somebody won't take it. Then AOL or Yahoo may not take the message because they consider it Spamish. And then the biggest filter of all is the recipient. And if the recipient isn't absolutely clear that that's a personal message, they're going to delete your message. And if any of you, and how many of you have seen the words that are considered spam? If you'd ever read those, you'd be amazed. Like, dear friend, that's spam. Click here, spam. You know, and you have to write the most innocuous messages. But at the same time that this is happening, you know, about 7 years ago, out of 100 pieces of mail, 7 of them were personal. 7 out of 100. Now that everybody uses email, when people get their snail mail, about 1 piece of snail mail out of every 350 is an actual personal communication or something that appears like a personal communication. And it becomes an event. You know, when I was a little boy, my grandmother, somebody answered my grandmother's phone, and you'd hear them say in a hushed voice, Grandma, it's long distance, you know, and everybody in the house would get real quiet, you know, it's like God was calling. And grandmother come and take that call. And that was an event. Something that's still an event, not so much for businesses, but for people that are live at home and don't work, is a Federal Express letter. You know, it's a big deal. It's an event. Well, it so happened now, believe it or not, that snail mail, direct mail, is much more effective than it's ever been in history because there are so few people that use it anymore because they go to the internet because it's cheaper. I'm going to tell you how to ask for an order. And it's funny. I've often said of conventional advertisers, guys will spend $100 million on an advertising budget to get somebody who wants to buy something standing in front of a clerk who doesn't give a damn. And what happens on the internet is you do everything you can to get somebody to want to buy your product. And you say, click here to order. And, you know, he's got to punch in 137 digits. And if one single thing is wrong, he's got to get an error message. And everybody here knows that only 1 in 20 people who click here to order. And they all think they were just browsing. That ain't true. They just didn't want to take that much trouble to order. And you want to know something else? The thing about social engineering? You know what our studies are showing us unbelievable? Is that twice as many people will call your area code number, even if you're in California and they're in Connecticut, as will call a toll-free number. Guess, you test it, and you can guess your own reason why. Maybe they're afraid they'll get a rabid telemarketer. Maybe they're afraid they're going to get into voicemail hell. I don't know. I think they call the area telephone number because I think maybe they're just hoping against hope they're going to get to talk to somebody. The ordering section of is where everybody in here falls down. That's one of the places. Everybody falls down on ordering. Very few exceptions. And I'm going to read to you a really masterful ordering instructions. There are several ways you can order these tapes. The first way is to write your check in the amount of $598.50 made payable to Cherrywood Publishing and send it to Cherrywood Publishing, 3101 Southwest 34th Avenue, Ocala, Florida, 34474. Now, I put that option in there deliberately because I wanted to emphasize that we were a physical place. You know, people like the idea that they could come and get you, and they just like that. So I put that in there. If you do that, we will send the tapes to you immediately by first-class mail. By the way, even though Teresa is out of the state helping her dad, there is someone else in Ocala who picks up the mail daily. Or if you prefer using a credit card, you can do it by fax or phone. To fax your order, write the word seminar tape order on a sheet of paper and fax it to 352-861-1665 along with the following information. Now pay attention here. 1, your name as it appears on your credit card. 2, your credit card number. 3, the expiration date. 4, your billing address for that credit card. 5, the security code from your credit card. A, if using Visa or MasterCard, the security code are the last 3 digits on the back of your credit card in the signature panel. And you're going to have to start getting credit codes from everybody, or security codes. B, if using American Express, which we shouldn't have in here, the security code are the first 4 digits on the front of your credit card, above your credit card number. 6, the shipping address where you want the tape sent. But like I said, you can also phone in your order. Now, listen to this. Normally, I'd have you call my office and give your information directly to Teresa. But since she's not in the office, you can call my voicemail 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When you call my personal voicemail at 305-866-5832, you will hear my voice saying, "Hi, this is Gary Halbert. Thank you for calling to order a copy of my Killer Website Profit Seminar Tape Package. What I need you to do is leave your name and address and the type of credit card you are using. We accept Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. I also need the credit card number, expiration date, security code, and the billing address of your credit card. Plus, I need the shipping address where you want the tape sent. As soon as I have all this information, I will send you the Killer Website Profit seminar tape package. And please speak slowly and clearly and spell out any unusual words. Thank you again for your order and trusting me enough to order the package in this fashion. Okay, after you hear my message, you will hear a very brief announcement in a female voice. She will direct you in both English and Spanish, and English is a second language in Miami, to wait for the beep before leaving your message. It is only after her speaking will you hear the beep and be able to leave your ordering instructions. So wait for the beep and do just like I instructed you above, and your Killer Website Profit seminar tape package will be shipped to you within 24 hours. And then I just put Gary C. Halbert, temporarily the world's most exhausted guru. P.S. When you listen to these seminar tapes, you will learn something more. You will learn more valuable, real information on how to make website profits than you can get anyplace else in the world. I promise. That's it for now. I'm going to crank up the No Mercy and take a little cruise. Peace. Now, what I did there is, if you want to make sales, you have to eliminate fear. And I'm telling them to call this voicemail, and you know what? I'm telling them exactly what they're going to hear. So they don't have to be afraid anymore. They're going to hear it exactly. There's going to be no surprises, no rabid telemarketers, no anybody. But the main thing is you can call your office, and you can say, call for Betty. And now I'm going to give you one more piece of social engineering. A woman doing infomercials was getting so many calls. She said one time in one of the infomercials, if our lines are busy, keep calling back. This product is really worth happening. And then she found out that line increased sales even on things that weren't busy. You know, so we use it in all our letters now. We say, call our number, and if it's busy, click here to order. And they click there to order, and that is where you lose 90% of the orders that you're going to get. Now, let's see if I can prove that. You're on an airplane, and you've had to wait 2.5 hours for takeoff, and you've read the airlines magazine, and now you pick up the Sky Mall magazine. You tell me how many people haven't done this. You go through this, and there's stuff that you got to have. Here's a watch that tells you what time it is in 3 time zones, when your girlfriend's ovulating and she's going to be horny. I mean, there's great pictures of stuff you got to buy in here, right? And you tear these sheets out, and you take them home. Say you're on your way to a hotel room, and you're going to buy them. Or sometimes, I take the whole damn magazine with me. And I get back to the hotel, and you land at the airport, you fight your way through the crowds, you pick up your luggage, you get to the rent-a-car place, you fill out 37,000 questions, you try to find your hotel after driving 2.5 hours, it's a 1/4 mile from the airport, and you find it. You get into the hotel, and you check in, and you're a non-smoker, and they put you in a smoker's room, and they say, we're sorry, sir or madam, if you'll just wait, we've got a non-smoker's room, but it's not made up yet. And so you go back down to the lobby, and you watch CNN vomit up the same news every 15 minutes, And I don't even know why they do the news anymore. It's all the same. They just ought to say clone it. And then they tell you that your room is ready. And you go back upstairs, but you put your magnetic key in, but it doesn't work, because they forgot to change the key. So you lug all your baggage back down to the desk, and you give it to them, and they go, and they give you a key that works, and you go take all your luggage back upstairs, and you put the key in, the door opens, and you go in, and being the anal compulsive person that you are, you hang up all your clothes, and you arrange your utensils just right, and you call your spouse, and say, honey, I'm here, and she asks you, how was the flight? And since the flight was only 13 hours extra, you tell her, oh, it was just routine. What's new at home? And she tells you, well, the water heater busted, and the water's rising in the basement. It's about 1 foot from the living room floor. The plumber's on his way over. He says it's going to be $175 an hour, because he usually doesn't work after 1 o'clock, and it tells you this litany thing. And by the way, you know that inventory report your boss wanted you to have at noon? He wants it at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so you don't get any sleep that night, and you're working on the inventory report. And these things keep happening, and you don't order from these things. And how many of you have carried this magazine or pages from it home with stuff that you thought was just the neatest thing since sliced bread, and eventually just crumpled it away, threw it away because you knew you're never going to have time to buy it? Has anybody done that? Let me see your hands here. Okay, well, let me tell you something. First of all, the shelf life of a buying urge is very short. And the shelf life between actually buying something that you're sold on and until life interferes with you is almost no time whatsoever. You know, have you ever noticed in conversations you get in meetings today, and 4 of you get together for a great meeting, the guy says, well, I got to take that call, and he pulls out his cell phone. And since he's talking to Ron, he says, well, I may as well make a cell phone too. And then he makes a cell phone call. You got 4 guys sitting at the table, all of them talking on the cell phone, you know, and nobody's doing nothing. Life interferes constantly. So I'll tell you something that just test it, and I'm going to tell you. Claude Hopkins, back in the 1920s, did a test. And he was introducing a free product. And you could get it, he advertised it in New York City in millions of pages of newspapers. And he said, it's easy to get a free sample of this product. Just write your name and address on a piece of paper and send it to us in an envelope. We'll send it right out to you. Second sell, it's easy to get a sample of this product. Just write your name and address. Or just call such and such a number, give us your name and address, and we'll send it to you. Or it's easy to get your free sample. You can just write your name and address and send it to us, or if you prefer, you can call. So he gave them both options. The call-only option outpulled the other options by 3 to 1. Now, I've tested that recently a dozen times, and the call-only option always outpulls everything else. And you should never allow your people to order any way whatsoever except by making a telephone call. Now, let me tell you something about online ordering. I have a friend named Scott Haynes, who's a pretty good copywriter, by the way. And there was a piece of software he wanted recently. It was $149.50. And I told the story about how he tried to order it 6 times. And you know, computers are unforgiving. If you put a hyphen out of place or put a comma instead of a period, bang, bong, there's an error message and it doesn't go through. And he said, I wish you would have talked to me before you wrote about that in the letter. He said, you know why? And I said, no. He said, because I tried over 40 times with 6 different credit cards to order that. And believe it or not, I'm going to tell you a big secret, people still don't like giving out their credit cards over the internet. Enough of them do it for you to make a profit doing business the way that you're doing it. But you need to understand that really often the good is the enemy of the great. And I believe you should offer a phone-only option. And I believe that you should only allow the people to order by Visa or MasterCard.